There's nothing stopping you from sending your partner a text and saying like, hey, I heard that song today. Remember that was playing in the restaurant when we were on our second date, and it made me think of you. Who wouldn't want that text? Like, it takes nothing. And that's, I think, what keeps us connected. I want someone to love me, and I want to love someone. And I want someone who will hold my hand. We are literally born of the connection of two people. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to reconnect to something.
Do you think we put too much pressure on our significant others to be our everything?
Yeah, I do. But the idea that this person should be your best friend, best conversation partner, best lover, best roommate, best co-parent, best travel companion, dude, really? That's amazing. Do you have to be everything in one person? We don't know ourselves. And I'm gonna get resentful of you because you haven't figured out me completely? That's insane. Social media is like junk food. It's good to have it once in a while. But if you make it a staple of your diet, you're gonna die. In a real way, you're gonna die. If you let these people define how you will never be anything but dissatisfied.
What are the earliest signs that a relationship is going south?
The two biggest mistakes people make in relationships is thinking that people are going to change and thinking that...
James Sexton, at long last.
Yeah, we've been trying to make this happen for a while.
I know, dude.
You know, this is the life of a trial lawyer. Is I know I have a lot of I have an ex-wife and a lot of ex-girlfriends that will tell you that scheduling anything with me is really difficult because there's always some millionaire or billionaire that has an emergency real or perceived, and I feel like I have my first loyalty to them always, so things always get canceled. But our persistence at this, I hope, is rewarded by this conversation. So
for sure, I know it will be. I'm a huge fan. I can't count the number of hours that I've spent just consuming, digesting, trying to assimilate your wisdom. I mean, you're such a force of intellect and insight.
Well, it goes in both directions. I really enjoy your work. I enjoy your show. I've enjoyed your book. I actually enjoy some of the recipes. I really was looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm glad we finally did it.
Same. And I know we have some sort of like overlapping history, familial history that I want to get into, but I read your book when I first became aware of your work. I voraciously consumed, your interview and every subsequent one that has come out. You were on Mark Laita's show. Mark, I had on mine, and I love your insights on all things relationships.
Thanks.
And how to make them work, and the hidden signs that people might not necessarily perceive when everything looks great from the outside.
Yeah.
That things might actually be awry and going south on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most sort of beautiful and humbling things for me about what I see in my work is that, early in my career, I represented, like the cop and the teacher, the W-2 wage earner, a couple of kids, they have a house, they got some debt. And now I represent, billionaires and athletes and celebrities. And some of the people I represent are like the highest performing, most talented people in the world. And they're just as bad at relationships as anybody else. Like, they're brilliant, a brilliant surgeon, a brilliant mathematician, quant person, a CEO or C-suite executive, Fortune 50 company. And they're just not good at staying connected, right? Like staying in a happy relationship, having the sort of presence that enables them to do that. And it really isn't something we get any kind of an education in. Like, we watch our parents maybe, we watch the people around us, we consume a lot of media, we watch a lot of like romantic comedies and depictions of what love's supposed to look like. But, having your education on what relationships look like by watching TV and movies is like having sex education by watching porn. Like, it's not real. That's a stylized version of things. So we don't necessarily talk about this stuff. And after 20-something years of watching the wheels come off of people's relationships and having a really honest conversation with them, as you have to have when you're a lawyer, I realized, you can figure out a lot about how to keep things together by watching how they fall apart. And that's really how the book happened. And I never really saw this chapter of my life coming. Like, I never imagined that, post 50, I would suddenly be in a where I'm not representing celebrities only. Now I'm like stopped on the street and people know me, and it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. It brings me into conversation with people like you, people who I've listened to and admired and enjoyed, and it's great. It's a real blessing. I feel like very lucky to be here.
We were talking off camera about briefly Ray LaMontagne. You're like Ray LaMontagne. He was working in a shoe factory before he realized this hidden talent.
Right. And like once he came into our line of sight, you're like, well, this guy's a genius. Like he's a poet. He's incredible. Like I remember the first time I heard the album Trouble, just being gutted. Jolene, like, I mean, a man needs something he can hold on to, a 9-pound hammer or a woman like you. Like, whoa, like, oh, like who writes that? Like, I'm almost mad that you wrote that, that you could come up with that, you know? Like, and then, you know, Till the Sun Turned Black came out, and I was like, okay, it's even better, you know? So, yeah, I mean, to know that that dude was working in a shoe factory, or Chuck Palahniuk was working in a factory before he wrote Fight Club, like, you just think to yourself, like, God, who else is out there? You know, who just dropped off your Amazon package? You know, because they might be like literally the next brilliant person, you know? It's amazing.
Well, what do you think it is about? I mean, obviously you're so good at what you do, but what do you think it is about like the populace, about our collective need for this kind of insight that has opened the door for you to explode to the degree that you have?
I think people are hungry for something I'm giving them. And so I think about that question of like, what is it we're hungry for? Because I'm satisfying some appetite that people have, because it's, you know, I'll tell you the truth, I'm always shocked by it. Like a couple of weeks ago, I said something about how I don't understand why people in romantic relationships feel like they have to sleep in the same bed. And it got like 8.6 million views and tens of thousands of comments. And I never thought that was that crazy. Like, and it was, people were very, you know, some people were like, oh my God, preach. Like, why would you sleep in the same bed? Like, it's like you starfish out. It feels so much better. And then other people are like, are you kidding me? Like, it's so good for my relationship that we have that like time together in the den all tucked in. And just the fact that it's sparked this conversation is so interesting, because I think we are hungry for this topic. It's a great equalizer. Like, whatever your political views, whatever your dietary preferences, whatever your exercise preferences, whatever you do for a living, we all want love and connection. We all start, if we get married, we all start the marriage with the same, I want this to be forever. I want this to work. Like, you know, one of the things that drew me to divorce work was the same thing that drew me to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is it's very hard to be full of crap in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, it either works or it doesn't. Like, and if it doesn't, you get choked. Like, so you can pretend you're really good at it, but you're gonna find out real quick if you're good at it or not. And that's how it's a progressive humility, you know, like to stick with it. That's why people in my experience who have been training a long time, like they're just really easy people to be around, because they don't have much of an ego, because you've had it beaten out of you. There's always someone better. There's always someone faster. And I think it's the same thing with this. Like, it's a great equalizer. We just are all hungry for this, but we're all kind of bad at it. And you can't pretend you meant to get divorced. Like, in our increasingly performative culture, where everyone pretends whatever happened to them, they meant for that to happen. And they're living this curated life on social media. And all of us now are like watching everyone's greatest hits while living our gag reel. To be in this place where people are like, yeah, I didn't mean for this to end. Like, and I kind of love that, because I love that, you know, the barn burned down, now I can see the moon. You know, like sometimes in the you know, I think it was Steinbeck, or maybe it was Farewell to Arms, where he said, you know, the world breaks everyone, and sometimes people are stronger in the broken places. And I think that, like, we do get stronger in the broken places. And I think we all have had the experience of heartbreak. And we know what that, like, you could go to any person in any culture, you know, and go, heartbreak. And they go like, oh. Like, we all just remember the feeling of like what it's like. Like, you know, the first time that you fall in love, there's nothing more intoxicating. And then the first time that you realize, oh, this can go away. Like, this isn't permanently gifted, it's loaned. And it can be taken from me, you know? I think when that happens, like, that's a deep cut. But I think it's also a great equalizer for all of us. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's something we're drawn to. I think we wanna be better at this, all of us. We all want to be better at this, and I think we don't necessarily ask for help. We don't teach this in school. I spent a lot of time in school learning how to divide fractions. I don't think I ever used it. But like, how do you stay connected to another person who you're in an intimate relationship with? How do you not fall into like ruts and routines that start to make you feel distant from each other? How do you disappoint each other a little bit so you don't disappoint each other big ways in the long term? Like, how do you fight? Like, how do we, like most people learn how to fight when they're in a fight. Why? Like, why wouldn't you early in a relationship when there's an abundance of optimism and love between the two people say, hey, you know what, we're going to have an argument someday. What's that look like? Like, are you somebody that needs a minute, like so that you can kind of calm down and get yourself into, process your own emotions? Or are you somebody that's like, we got to figure this out tonight. We can't go to bed angry. Like, because I want to be good at this. I want to be good at this. So like, but we don't encourage that. We have this perception that it should be so easy. Like and if it's not, well, then you must pick the wrong person. And I just don't think that's true. I think that it's like anything. I think that you have to, I think our work is actually quite similar in the sense that I think relationships, just like nutrition, diet, exercise, are just lots of little things. It's lots of little choices that you make along the way, and consistency. And no single raindrop's responsible for the flood, And I think it's really just about like how do we really stay present in cultivating what's important to us long term.
Do you think these kinds of skills can be taught, or do you think we're ultimately all just doomed to repeat the patterns that we grew up around?
I think in the absence of reflection on it, we are doomed to repeat the patterns that we grew up around, or the patterns that we've established as a function of those traumas or the ways we were raised or the experiences we've had, the ways we've been hurt. I think we break in relationship and we heal in relationship. But sometimes when we break in relationship, we bring that broken part to the next relationship. We bring that fear. We bring that, understandably so. Like, you've been cheated on, you're going to have more jealousy perhaps. You're going to be afraid, and that's okay. But did you share that with your partner? Like, did they understand that about you, that it's not about them, it's about that someone's hurt you, and that, because that's a beautiful thing to share with somebody, but it requires bravery. It requires bravery to say that out loud and to acknowledge that. And I do think we could learn these skills. Like, the whole point of my writing and my public work has been that it's actually not that hard. Like, I don't think this is not really complicated stuff. I think it's really just about very basic communication, little tiny habits, like, keep us connected. Like, it really, it's not that hard. Like, you want to run an experiment on it. Like, be around some people that that are in a long-term relationship. And maybe they're like, not getting along, or maybe they're getting along, but it's kind of like dull or whatever. And just in some conversation with the two of them, say, how did you guys meet? I don't think I ever heard that story. Tell me the story. Something changes. Like, their whole demeanor changes. Like, the way they're looking at each other when they're telling, because they go back there in their head. And all of a sudden they're seeing that person like when they were interested and they were interesting, and they reconnect with that moment. And that's like a cheat code. Like, because you could do that yourself as a couple. Like, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you from sending your partner a text and saying like, hey, I heard that song today. Remember that was playing in the restaurant when we were on our second date, and it made me think of you. Like, who wouldn't want that text? Who wouldn't want to receive that text? Like, who wouldn't want to just be told, like, it takes nothing to just tell your partner, like, I'm glad I have you. That's it. It's nothing. It takes nothing. Costs nothing. And that's, I think, what keeps us connected, is these little tiny acknowledgments of making you feel seen, of making you feel like I'd still choose you. Because we are still choosing each other. You wake up every day and you choose this person. And you know, I've said it before that I think loving anything is kind of insane, because to love anything is to acknowledge that you're going to lose it. Like every marriage ends. It ends in death or divorce. It's weird because it's like one of the only things in the world you go, I hope this ends in death. But it's true. Like it's all going to end. So we're really just with each other for a little bit of time. You know, 100 years from now, everyone you love will be gone, and everyone who loved you will be gone. And so really we're just sort of riding this moment. And we spend a lot of our early life like looking for our person. And it becomes an increasingly important priority. And then we get them. And then we just stop paying attention to it.
Like fumble.
We just, I've got that now. I'll worry about these other things. And there's no shortage of other things to worry about, you know. There's so much to worry about. I get it. You know, I'm not faulting anybody for that. But I really feel like keeping that connection is so easy. It's so much easier to overlap our perspectives. It is so much easier to stay healthy than to let yourself get sick and terribly out of shape and then try to climb your way back. You can, but it's so much easier just to maintain. And that's what I'm really trying to say to people, is that by the time you're in my office, it's gone so sideways. Because people fall out of love or break up the same way they go bankrupt, very slowly and then all at once. It's like, it's slow, and then it just goes off a cliff. And you want to blame the cheating, or you want to blame the financial impropriety or the lying, but those are symptoms of the underlying thing, and the underlying thing is almost always disconnection. It's almost always small disconnections.
What are do you ever ask your clients, like, why were you so reluctant to send that text and to intervene before it had gotten past the point of no return?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the same thing when you get a bad head cold and you just think, if I could just breathe, and not be sneezing and coughing, I'll be the happiest person in the world. I'll drink water. I'll take vitamin C. I'll do all the things if I could just feel better. And then you do start to feel better. And maybe for like a day or two or even a week, if you have real tenacity and discipline, you're taking better care of yourself. And then you just go right back to being kind of an ungrateful piece of shit, where you just go like, you know, there's other things. I really think that, and again, understandably so, I think we don't fix problems until they become real problems. And preventative maintenance is just not a popular ethos anymore. Like it's not. Like we don't do it with anything anymore. Like you get a car, and in 3 years you get a new car. So you don't really take that great care of the car, because who cares? 3 years is somebody else's problem, you know? And it used to be that we were encouraged as a culture to like, yeah, take care of this. This is yours. Like you've signed on for this thing. Like whether it's your body, which is the only one you're going to get, or your relationship that you've signed on and committed to. Like, wouldn't you cultivate this relationship? It's supposed to be your most intimate, deep connection. It's the person who's supposed to be there to see your blind spots and be with you through celebrating the good things and be with you to give you support during the hard things. And we give it the least thought, you know? Because again, I think marriage gives us the impression that this thing is locked down now. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. We're married. You're here. You got to stay here. We're married. You know, that's how it works. And I think actually, it's a very human thing. I think we want to have control. You know, the illusion of control is so important. You know, like because there's so much out of our control. The world is terrifying, and if you realize like how out of control so many things are, and bombs just fall out of the sky, I think there's, you know, you would realize like, yeah, there's not much you can do. You don't have that much control. But I think marriage gives us this sense that, oh no, I'm going to do this, and then this is safe. It'll be safe. And it's an illusion. And I think it can be a harmful illusion, because you think that this ring is going to replace preventative maintenance and staying connected. And so if you said to someone, why didn't you stay connected? Why didn't you do these little things? Most of the time, the answer would be, I didn't know until we were, like, I didn't know I was getting lost until I was lost. Like, if I'd known I was getting lost, I would have stopped driving and figured out I'm lost. Like, by the time I realized where I was, I had no idea. Like, falling feels like flying for a little while, you know, and then you hit the ground, you know. So it's like, oh, this feels good. This feels good. This is all right. I'm good, you know. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what? No, and now it's too late. And so I don't think it's that we see it and don't care enough. I think it's that we just think, oh, I got that now. I'm covered now. And I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because there's enough stuff to worry about. Like, there's enough stuff that needs your attention. It feels great to be like, oh, I don't have to worry about that anymore. You know?
I feel like it's sort of hardwired into the human condition that it becomes, it's difficult, if not impossible, to maintain an appreciative relationship with something that's just always around.
Yeah.
You know, like I was really psyched to buy this couch.
Yeah.
I was waiting on bated breath for the couch to arrive. I got the couch for the first couple of weeks. I was enamored with the couch.
Yeah.
And that was just a freaking couch.
Yeah. 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 And, you know, we don't know who discovered water, but it wasn't a fish, right? Like, the things that you're around all day, you stop seeing them. You know, they're just there. It's just your couch. Like your car, for like a minute, you know, for a week, a month, whatever, you're stoked about your car, and it's just a car. And it's just your car. Like, it just becomes your car. You don't. But there are some things in our life that aren't like that. And I think that can be a teacher. Like, you know, you have a lovely cat, Delilah, who I had the pleasure of meeting. How long have you had Delilah?
10 years.
Okay. Do you ever find yourself going, I gotta get a kitten? It's fucking 10 years, this thing is like, good Lord. Like, kittens are so cute, and this one's been around forever. It doesn't really do anything more or different. No, right? Like, you're more and more in love with that cat every day.
Amen.
Like, and the smell of that cat, and the feel of that cat, and the exact spot, you know exactly where to pet that cat, and the way that it, you know, does exactly, like all of the unit, they get richer and richer and more beautiful and more like, you just feel such depth of connection. Like, and pets, anyone with pets knows that feeling of like, it's like the pair of jeans you've had for so long that it feels so good. No pair of jeans you could buy would be better. You never put them on and go, oh my God, I got some new jeans. Like, you would never. So that's love. Like, that's real love. Like, real love is, the more I have of this, the deeper my connection to it is. And the more I feel myself like just sink into it, and the more irreplaceable it becomes. If I said to you, I will give you $200,000 for Delilah, you'd be like, go, there's no amount of money you could give me that I would let you have, Mike. If there's anything else in this place, I'm willing to bet. If I said, I'll give you $1 million for this, you'd be like, take it off the wall right now.
Yeah.
No amount of money.
No amount.
No amount of money. To me, that's the teacher right there. I think some of that is that we're so unconditionally loved by our pets, and they love us that way, and we love them that way. There's a simplicity to it, to the nature of the relationship. I think some of it also is the fact that they have such a finite life. There's this feeling of, I'm going to lose this someday. And so there's just this depth of, I'm going to just never take this for granted, because I know far too soon this will be gone. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things, is the acknowledgement of impermanence. And I think we can do that in romantic love. We can remind ourselves that, like, this was loaned. This is not permanent. Like, that this person made a choice to love us. We made a choice to love them. And there was a time where we were like trying to close the deal. Like, we wanted them to love us so bad. Like, we wanted them, like, we all remember in our relationship, like, that there was a time where it was like, oh my God, I want this to happen. Like, I want this to happen. And then it happens. And we're like, you know, all right. And it's not that it's not great, of course, but it's like, it just becomes familiar. So I think we have in us this depth of love. And I think how you do anything is how you do everything, you know? And I think that there is a tremendous invitation in the other loves of your life to understanding how you love and how you want to be loved. But, you know, romantic love is scarier than the love of a pet because there's like so much vulnerability, you know. There's a lot of vulnerability in romantic love. Like this person really gets to know you in a really deep way. And intimacy is not about sex. Like when you talk to people about intimacy, like they often refer to sex, but intimacy is defined as the ability to be completely yourself with another person. And I think it's actually the way we want desperately to be loved. Like I've said before, like I'm not religious. I don't believe in like a devil, you know. I believe in God, but I don't believe in a devil. But if there was a devil, I think the devil's principal function would be to convince us that we're so bestial and awful that God couldn't possibly love us. And I think we're very scared that if someone, like the person who loves us, really knew us, like really knew what's in our hearts, really knew the awful thoughts we have sometimes, the weaknesses of us, that they couldn't possibly love us. Like they only love me because they don't know me. If they knew me, they wouldn't love me. And I actually think that that's probably not accurate. Like I think that if we can be, because the really wonderful thing is when someone sees you, you're good, you're bad, like not the character you're playing, but like the real you, the good parts, the shit you need to work on, and they love you anyway. Like that's love really worth having. Like that's love you can really feel down to your toes, and it's love that inspires in you, radiating that to the other person. But I think that it's very easy for that spiral to go in the wrong direction, because once you start to like shut off parts of yourself because you don't want to look at it, or you don't want them to look at it, maybe because it makes you feel weak or vulnerable and you think they won't love you, or by sharing it, you're afraid they'll like have a weapon against you, like it's your soft spot and they'll know what it is, and that's scary. Same reason why some people don't want to be in therapy, because it's like, what am I afraid to feel? Like, what am I afraid to look at? You know, the best definition I ever heard of addiction was, addiction is any behavior you engage in to get away from feeling what you would have felt if you'd done nothing at all. And for me, like work is my favorite narcotic. You know, anytime I'm super stressed, I'm like, oh, I'm great at work. I'm just going to go into work. I'm just going to go into work. And I have friends that exercise. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go to the gym. I'll feel better if I just go to the gym. The truth is that's actually a moment where you might need to just do nothing at all and feel what you're feeling. And I think that's the practice we have to cultivate in relationship.
Is love, do you believe that love is conditional? I mean, like, because you could say that my cat's love for me is more or less unconditional. I mean, I have to feed her, obviously.
Yeah, but that's dominion, that's caretaking, that's, you know, you have power over an animal, but actually to some degree, like the fact that they're so powerless is, I think, part of the beauty of it, is that they're just powerless and trembling before us, and that's, I think, what inspires in us such compassion and love, you know, and it because they don't really have anything to offer us other than love. You know, they don't have any other agenda really. They have a very simple agenda. They want to eat, they want to sleep with you, they want to cuddle, you know, like they have a very simple agenda. And I think that makes them less scary. Like humans are scary because there's just so much going on. Like I know how much is going on in me. You know how much is going on in you. And if we imagine, okay, you're like that too, then it's like, how hard is it to know yourself, much less another person, you know? So I think some of it is that, yeah, that there's a complexity to human beings. But again, that doesn't have to be like, because fundamentally, I don't know if you've watched this, you know, you and I share some of the same literary preferences and some of the same affection for certain music. Did you ever watch Love on the Spectrum?
Yes, loved it.
Okay. Like that show made me cry multiple times with just how beautiful it is. Because I spend so much of my time with people that have a lot of demands of their relationship and then a lot of demands in the ending of their relationship. And of course, in the relationship space, like working in the relationship space now and talking about it, I talk to a lot of people about like what it is they want in a partner and what it is they want in a relationship. And then you watch a show like Love on the Spectrum, where this person is really struggling to navigate very basic things in life. Like their neurodivergence, creates in them, like, we take for granted that we can sit here, two people having a conversation. They can't take that for granted. Like, just having a conversation is really hard. Like, figuring out how to navigate that. And I find myself watching it, and I'm going like, oh, come on, you can do it. Like, you can do it. Like they're sitting on the date and they're kind of not sure what to say. But the part that like really makes me go totally rubbery and cry is they're sitting there having the most stilted, awkward conversation. Like, oh, so do you like stuff? And they're like, yeah, what do you like? I like baseball. Do you like baseball? No, I don't. Oh, okay. Well, what do you like? And then they like cut away to the interview and they're like, how do you think it's going? And they're like, it's really good. It's really good. Like, she's really nice. And they're like, yeah, he's really nice. And you realize like, oh my God, like we just want to connect. Like we just want a person. Like they really are like the whole show is like, maybe you'll be my girlfriend. Okay, would you be my boyfriend? Okay. Like, and they're not caught up in like, well, what does he make and what does he drive and who is it? Like, it's just, I want someone to love me and I want to love someone. And I want someone who'll hold my hand and they'll want to hold my hand and I get to hold their hand. And like, to me, like that's really all it is. Like, we've added all this other stuff on top of it. But like, that's kind of all it is. Like, we are literally born of the connection of two people. Like, the physical connection of two people creates us as human beings. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to reconnect to something. And then depending on what you believe happens after we die, maybe we reconnect to the infinite. I don't know. But it's all about like connection. And I just think that, whether it's a pet, whether it's a partner, strip it down to its simpler things. Because early on in relationships, it's about, I see this person and something in me sparks. There's something magical between us. There's something about their smile, something about their eyes, something about like how they make me feel. Not just who they are, who I am when I'm with them. That's so authentic. It's so pure. And we just throw a lot of other stuff on top of it, but we decide to do that. We don't have to do that. We can actually like step back and say, hey, wait a minute, like, let's simplify this a little bit. Like, let's just remember in this relationship that it's not, where did you take me on Valentine's Day and did you get me a Birkin bag for Christmas? Like, it really is like, you're so pretty. It makes me happy every time I see you. I have the prettiest girl in my life. Like, what a lovely thing to say to someone. What if someone's saying to you, Max, like, you're so handsome. It makes me so happy that we're together. I have such a handsome man in my life. Who wouldn't? I'm not even dating you. You're smiling when I hear that because it just feels so nice to hear someone say, I like you so much. I like talking to you. It's making me happy to talk to you right now. Like, and we're just in this world where, again, understand, I'm from New York City. I mean, you're originally a New York guy. I mean, like we walk around just angry all the damn time and resentful all the damn time and sarcastic all the damn time. But underneath it, like, we're really just like your cat. Like, we just want to like be happy and loved. We want to be warm. We want to be safe. Like, that's all we want. It's not that hard, And I think a place to start is in your relationship. I think the rest of the world is really frightening and complicated a lot of the time. But I think your relationship can be a lot simpler than we make it.
Why do we become so calloused?
I think we get hurt. I think the world breaks everybody at some point. And I think, some are stronger in the broken places and some are broken in the broken places. I think we get hurt. And when we get hurt, we get scared. When we get scared, we start to like control for things. We start to, like, if you ever learn how to shoot a firearm, one of the most important things is to not It's the hesitance because you know it's about to make a really loud noise and you anticipate that, and it changes the way you hold it. So part of the process of learning how to shoot a firearm is learning how to breathe and be calm, and you don't have trigger hesitation, like you don't react before that sound because you know that sound's coming. And I think it's kind of the same. Like I think when we've been hurt, understandably, and again, not even necessarily by a romantic partner, like we've been disappointed by love, like our parents hurt us, we hurt them. Like our siblings hurt us, we hurt them. Our friends hurt us, we hurt them. Like we hurt each other all the time. Like hurting people is like the nature of humanity. But I think, we can figure out how to absorb some of that pain, normalize it, not be afraid of talking about it, not be afraid of sharing it. And I think that's a path. That's a path to stay connected.
How do we get ahead of the little things in relationship so as to not allow them to foment and become big?
Yeah.
Overblown conflicts.
I mean, it's going to sound really cliche, but I think it's communication. I think it's all communication. I think it's all like making it a practice, like measure what matters, like I think it's okay. Like, first of all, I think when the relationship is still good is the time to say, this is kind of a job, and I want to be good at it. I want to be good at this job. Like, you're going to be the only person I sleep with. I'm going to be the only person you sleep with. So I want to be good at that. Like, I want you to be happy that I'm the only person you sleep with, and I want to be happy that you're the only person I sleep with. I want to be able to make you laugh. I want to be able to make you, when you are hurting, I want to know how to comfort you. Am I just supposed to like figure that out? No, like ideally, we can share with each other, like, hey, and again, it doesn't have to be like we sit down and have some summit. It could just be a practice. It could just be, tell me 3 things I did this week that made you feel loved. Tell me 3 things I did this week that I could have done better to make you feel loved. Not to attack me. I want to be good at this job. It's an important job. I signed on for it for life. I want to be good at it. So how can I be good at it if I don't check in on it, right? Like you have performance reviews at a job, When something's working, like you track metrics on your show. What was popular? What wasn't? What length was good? What duration? Like these are, because it matters. When something matters, you pay attention. What does the audience want to see? What resonated with them? What got lots of comments where people said, oh, that was so good. Cool, I want to give you more of that. I care about my audience. I want to give them what they want. I want them to hear, or what they need, right? Why wouldn't we do that in a relationship? And it's not even a painful practice to do that. To say like, because it can be fun. It can be fun. What are 3 moments in the last 2 weeks where I was, particularly sexy to you? Oh yeah, when you were like by the sink that, like, by the way, you'd be surprised by the answers. You'd be surprised by the answers. Like if you said to me, Jim, what are 3 things in this room you like? Like I could answer that. I could answer that pretty quick. It might not be the things you like. It might be something totally different because we're different people, you and I. And we're 2 dudes. We're 2 heterosexual dudes. Like, put me in a room with a woman. Like, I don't have that Rosetta Stone. And I have to tell you, like, I work in an office full of women. I listen to them talk to each other. I feel like Margaret Mead sometimes, like watching like the Yanomamo tribe. Like, I'm sitting in my office like, I am learning so much right now because they just talk about things differently. They see things differently. And it took me, I'm 53. It took me probably to like my late 40s to figure out the incredibly cliche thing that when a woman, particularly a woman I'm in a relationship with, is telling me about something that's upsetting to her, that she doesn't want me to fix it. That sometimes she wants me to fix it. And by the way, I'm exceedingly good at solving problems. People pay me $1,000 an hour to solve complex problems for them, right? So I'm great at it. So I'm like, oh my God, this is my toolkit. This is great. This is my toolkit. Like you're telling me a problem you're having with your sister, or you're telling me a problem you're having with your boss. I solve problems for a living, really complicated ones. This is going to be great. I'm highly qualified for this, and I'm going to be a champion. And then you're going to go, Jim, you're the best ever. I love you so much. Let's go have sex. But in fact, very often, what they want is not, well, here's what you should do. You should talk to this person. You should say, well, have you tried doing X, Y, Z? They want, wow, that must have been hard. Like, that sucks. I'm really sorry that happened. Like, they just want connection, empathy, sympathy, for you to hear and sort of like be present and hold space for their experience. I never knew that. Most of the men I know, that's not how we. If I call a buddy of mine and tell him something that's going on in my life, and he goes, "Man, that sucks," I'd be like, "Well, what fucking use are you?" Like, I want him to be like, "All right, dude, well, here's what you should do." Like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? That happened to me, and here's what I did." Like, because we're very linear and problem solving, and God bless. Like, this is why the polarity is wonderful, between men and women, or even, in same-sex couples, same thing. You always have polarity in relationship. I just think that it's not that hard to like build exercises into our relationship. A lot of my book is about how to invite your partner in non-dramatic ways to having a conversation. Like to just leaving each other a note, sending each other an email, like having a weekly walk and talk where you like just, tell me 3 things I did right this week. Like, it's so easy. It costs nothing. And why wouldn't you do? Because here's what I'll tell you. If you don't have a minute or 10 a week to keep your romantic relationship put together, you have no business having a romantic relationship. It's like, I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh who said, if you don't have 10 minutes to meditate every day, you need an hour. Right? Like you really do. You need an hour. Because if you've got that kind of a life that you've now are like, oh, I don't have 10 minutes. Okay, you definitely need an hour then. Like, so if you're in a place where you go, yeah, I can't make 10 minutes for my spouse or my partner to like talk about our relationship, cool. Then you should put aside a lot of time. Because you're going to end up spending it in my office for $1,000 an hour anyway. So I think it's a better value for free to spend like 10 minutes a week. Just consciously being mindful of your relationship and learning and being open to learning and being open to hearing where you got it right and hearing where you got it wrong.
Wow. Do you believe in fatalism? Like if a relationship doesn't work out, that it was never meant to be?
I think we look at relationships in a strange way. I think we look at them in this very binary, it was successful or it was failure. And success is you lived happily ever after, and failure is it ended. I don't view relationships that way. I think that we should be looking at relationships like chapters in a long book. And I think, all the relationships I've had, like any good book, moments of bliss and joy and excitement and romance, moments of pain, moments of misunderstanding, moments where I got it wrong, moments where I got it right. And what kind of story it was is really in the aggregate. Like, I have 2 sons, they're 26 and 28. And if you look at my worst moment of parenting, and you judge me by that moment, I'm a bad father. If you judge me by my greatest moment as a father, you're giving me way too much credit. What it really is what is it in the aggregate? What is it in the long term, in the totality? So I think it's the same thing with love. Like, I think that the idea that, if a relationship ended, it wasn't the right relationship, you picked wrong, it was a waste of time. Like, I just refuse to believe that. I mean, if you have children with someone, that's insane to say, because you wouldn't have those exact children if at the exact moment. I mean, we now know about like biology that like 3 hours later you'd have had a different kid. Like, that's crazy. If you drank, a different amount of water and were less hydrated or more hydrated, you'd have had a different kid. Like, that's insane. So the magic of this pairing and this moment created this unique person. So how could you ever regret it? Like, I have people who say to me, they're like, oh, I wish I'd never met him. I'm like, you have 3 kids. How could you say that out loud? But even if you didn't have kids with somebody, like, think about all you learned from like successful or unsuccessful relationships. Like, on a long enough timeline too, like, so many of what looked like tragedies in your life or looked like, failures in your life were just like the chrysalis stage of great successes and the chrysalis stage of deep, deep feeling and knowledge that paid tremendous dividends in other aspects of your life. I mean, you and I both had the shared experience of losing mom and going through, extended illness and all of the pain and fear that comes with that and all of the grief that comes with that and the way that it sneaks up on you. But to say like, oh, that was all bad. Like no good came of that. Like I don't believe that. Like if I could press a button and my mom didn't have 2 years on hospice and horrible pain, of course, But like I learned a lot from that. And it taught me a lot. And it shaped me a lot, as I know it shaped you a lot. And I think it changed the core of me. And maybe that was a gift that they gave to us, like that wasn't meaningless suffering. That wasn't meaningless. It gave us tremendous sensitivity. It gave us tremendous empathy. It gave us tremendous gratitude. I know when my mom passed after 2 years on hospice, I remember one of my most frightened feelings was this is how I will remember her. Like 70 pounds in a hospital bed in the living room, like kind of yellow and curled up.
Oh, just got goosebumps.
And I was just, it was, and I remember thinking, oh no, like this is the image that will be burned in my brain forever. This is how I'll remember my mother. And then time passes and it's not true. Like it's not true. Like, yeah, I remember that, but I remember it in like a distant way, like memory is kind, like I remember my mom smiling with hair. I remember my mom when I was a kid, while I was walking around Bradley's and like hiding under the dresses and she would like find me. Like I remember that so sharply. I don't remember that painful stuff. And so I think it's the same thing. Like I think that we don't really know when a relationship is ending. Of course, like you're deeply in the pain of it, and that's okay. Like it's grief, it's all of Kubler-Ross's, stages of death and dying. You have to go through it. Like a divorce is a death, a breakup is a death. You have to go through the stages of grief. You don't get to skip them, But if you don't allow it to make you so bitter that you close off the part of yourself that naturally really wants to love and be loved, I think you can see, just like I said, just like the great pain of losing mom, going through illness, there's beauty that can be found in that. There's growth that can be found in that. Tremendous growth that can be found in that. I was at an event fairly recently, and somebody was asking me about my mom and asking me if I believe in an afterlife and where I believe that my mom is. Like, is she watching over me? And I'd never said this before, but I responded, I am my mom. Yeah.
That my mom is now me. That whatever it is that my mom, whatever energy, all the energy that she put into me, the values, like I've absorbed that.
Yeah. Do you feel, I have found, I haven't said this out loud, but you're the person to say it too. As each year passes, I see more of her in me now. I think the fact that she's not here anymore for me to see it in her, I see it when it comes out in me. Like when I say something and it's like the way my mom would have said it, I go, oh my God, that was so my mom. And it's like she visited for a second. And I think it was always there. Like I know how much it shaped me, how much she shaped me, and how many of the best parts of me were born of her. But like I see it more clearly now because, the silence is deafening, like she's not here anymore. But the parts of me, the parts of my sons, the parts of the world, like that are in, like my mom, I agree, like I feel like my mom's kind of everywhere now. And I like to think that, she has the answers now to all the questions that she had, The idea, somebody said to me once, like they were like, oh, I think your mom's watching over you. And I mean, I love the sentiment behind that, because what they're trying to say is like, she's still here. Like, she's still here, and you know, she's still in this, you know. But like, I don't know that I like want her watching me, you know. Like, I masturbate. I don't really want her to be, you know. Like, there's some things that I'm like, all right, wait a minute. Like, when is mom around, and is there some place I could be where she doesn't see it? Because that feels weird, you know. But I understand what people mean when they say like, yeah, I think that, you know, there is a, like, when we die, I think we become something eternal, and I think we, you know, become, I think in our absence, sometimes we're easier to see, and that's a really cool thing. You know? And I think, again, there's a lot to learn about love in that, because I think when the person you love is there, it's really easy to forget they're there. And then when they go away for a little while, you're like, oh, you know, the silence is loud, you know, like the scent of them not being here, like, you just get used to the scent of things. And then, like, when you come home after you've been away, like, the scent of your home smells so good, you know, but you're home, you don't smell it anymore. You just, you know, whoever discovered water wasn't fish. So I think that there's a lot to learn. And it's funny to me that, like, how much you can learn about love by thinking about things like loss. But I think that those two things are very intimately tied to each other, because I think the finite nature of life is part of what makes it so beautiful and precious. And I think the finite nature of love is part of what makes it so beautiful and precious.
Yeah, and you're carrying every experience, every relationship with you. I mean, they become a part of you.
100%.
And they inform how you show up in your next one.
Yeah.
We
were talking before, you know, before we turned things on. You made a point I thought was super interesting about, you know, do we make our relationships choices, like subsequent relationships, as a reaction to the one before? And I'd never heard anyone say that, and I thought, wow, that's really good. I'm going to like really ponder that. And I think it's a very powerful thought, because I do think a lot of things, like, we learn so much in relationship, good things and bad things, you know. But a lot of what we do and the choices we make is a reaction to those things, and I think that's very human. Like, these are very human things, you know, and I think we just forget sometimes that we're an animal. We have a lot in common with each other as organisms. Like, because there's so much that divides us and separates us, and certainly there's a lot to be sold to people now by pointing out the differences and creating enragement, engagement, and dividing us from each other. There's a lot of distraction to be provided by, look over here at this thing that someone's pissing you off, rather than looking over here at everything that's going out the door. But I think really, like, what we have in common is really fascinating to me. Like, we all, like I said, we all want love. It's the most important thing. Even the most red pill manosphere guy, all of his like Ferraris and all of his, like, you know, it's still about impressing women. It's still about trying to find connection. Fine, disposable connection, still connection. You're still trying, man. Like, if everything you're doing is talking about how women are, well, all you're doing is talking about women all day, man. So they're still real important. The opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. So if you are, you know, a person who worships an idol and a person who destroys an idol are both idolaters, you know? So, like, people that go like, well, you know, I'm talking about how amazing women are all the time, or I'm talking about how women aren't that amazing and they think they're so amazing. All you're doing is talking about women all the time, buddy. Like, so you're acknowledging that this is important, and that's okay. It's good to acknowledge that. It's good to acknowledge this is really important. Humans find connection to other humans really important. This is not breaking news, but we should be putting our focus back to that.
And you still believe in love after having seen so many relationships end?
100%. I mean, I think that question, I love it, and I love you, but people say to me, like, you know, do you believe in love? I'm like, do you believe in gravity? Like, I don't have to believe in it. It exists. It's undeniable. Like, I don't believe in gravity. You think I'm going to fall up? Like, I don't have to believe in love. It's everywhere around me. It's in me. It's all around me. I feel it every single day for something. I see it in practice every day, all around me. Yes, there's an exceeding amount of hatred in the world. There's a massive amount of things to be upset by and terrified by and all that. But there is a massive amount of love in the world. And a lot of the horrible things in the world are reactions, like fear, don't take what I love from me. Like so they're all tied to love. Like, so do I believe in love? I believe in love more than most people probably. Because, again, like you can focus on the statistic that everyone asks me about, which is what's the divorce rate? Roughly 56% of marriages end in divorce. That's an insane number, by the way. Like, put it in perspective, Toyota in the 90s had a model vehicle that 0.0001% had problems with the brake line. They recalled all of that model of vehicles because that was an unacceptable risk. Less than 1% unacceptable risk. 56%. If I said there's a 56% chance when we walk out of this room you get hit in the head with a bowling ball, you would stay in this room or you would put on a helmet. But we still get married. And by the way, that's how many catastrophically fail in divorce. How many stay together miserable for the kids or because they don't want to give up half their stuff? 10%? Being nice. 20%. Now we got a technology fails 76% of the time. Wow. 76% of the time. There's a 76%. That's insane. Okay? And yet, that's not the number that's interesting to me. The number that's interesting to me is that 86% of people who get divorced are remarried within 5 years.
Wow.
What does that tell you? That tells you this has catastrophically failed. I'm going to do it again. Why? Because it's that important. Because we need it that bad. Look at that. How do you not believe in love? How do you not believe in love? You've been hurt. This fell apart. And you keep doing it. Because it's so human. We want it so badly. It's that fundamental to us. It's like breathing. We need love and connection, period. So not only has it not soured me on love, it has had the opposite effect. It has made me realize how precious love is, how important love is, how finite and potentially fragile love is. Like, I'm a romantic, but I don't believe in fairy tales. I think fairy tales are useful to tell us principles and virtues that might inspire us to be better. But I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't believe in soulmates. Like, there are 8 billion people in the world. That's a lot. Like, I think there are a lot of people, any one of us could have a very successful, happy connection with. Long-term, short-term, whatever it might be. I don't think that we have to romanticize that to the point where we go, yeah, like it's perfect or nothing. Oh, this person hurt my feelings, but that's it, it's over now. You know, like that's insane. Like it's insane. Like I think it would be impossible or foolish to not believe in love and to deny how incredibly important it is to all of us. I think it is the most important thing. The fact that tens of millions of people have now tuned into some form or another of what it is I have to say about love tells me everything I need to know about how important this is to all of us. And it's people from every walk of life. Like, I've got an audience that's like 50% men, 50% women. It's not even like, oh, just women are interested in this because it's romantic and what. Nope, men are just as interested in this. I get more email. I get emails from men. I get emails from women, young people, old people, people in relationship, people breaking up in their relationship. We're all trying to figure this out. It is the most eternal game there has ever been. We're all trying to figure it out.
Do you think we put too much pressure on our significant others to be our everything?
I do. Yeah, I do. But I don't blame us for that. I think that's cultural. Like, I think we've created this stand. I mean, whoever it is who created the concept of a soulmate, like divorce lawyers owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude.
Well, it's like Jerry Maguire, you complete me.
Right. Right. And by the way, there is an interpretation of that concept that is very sweet, which is like you're a missing piece of me. and that having you, like, I feel whole. That's beautiful. But the idea that, like, this person should be your best friend, best conversation partner, best lover, best roommate, best co-parent, best travel companion. Dude, really? Like, that's amazing. Like, you know, like, oh, you can cook. Can you farm? Well, those both have to do with food. Okay, right, but they're totally different skill sets. And by the way, do you have to be everything in one person? Like, maybe we're great in like 5 or 6 of those metrics. And like 1 or 2, we're kind of at a 7 or a 5. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's really not the end of the world. Like, but we have sold people through popular media and like representation, which again, like rom-coms are like an equivalent of pornography. Because it's like this idealized, stylized version of things, and you don't have to see anybody clean up after. Like, it's just what it is. But the truth is, like, come on, watch Titanic. If he didn't die in the end, Leonardo DiCaprio, sorry, it's a spoiler alert. What? You think 6 months later she'd have been like, oh yeah, keep painting those French girls, like do whatever you. No, they would have started to have some things they got to figure out. Like, hey, are you gonna get a job? Like, what are we doing? You know, or like like. Where are we gonna live? Your place, my place? Like, you're kind of broke, you're an artist. I've got some money, but now I don't have as much because I broke up with that dude. Like, so there would have been some stormy waters, but what do? We end the story, right? Like George Orwell said, you know, whether something's a comedy or a tragedy depends on where you end the story. So I think you have to, like, you know, give yourself the grace that, you know, relationships are, you know, they're a long enough time. Like, don't expect that your partner 100% of the time will know exactly what you need. Do you 100% of the time know what anyone in your life needs? I don't know what I need a lot of the time. Like, I'm so angry today. I think you're tired. You know, like I'm so hungry. You're not, you're thirsty. You're thirsty. Drink some water and see if you're still hungry. You know, it's so, we don't know ourselves. And we don't have every box checked for ourselves. And I'm going to get resentful of you because you haven't figured out me completely? That's insane. I haven't figured out me completely, and I'm in here.
Yeah. It's wild.
I think we've put, and again, I think it's largely popular media, we've put a lot on what romantic partners are supposed to do. And I think social media has made this exponentially worse. Like, it has put it on steroids. Because whatever you're doing, you know this, whatever you're doing it wrong. Someone's going to tell you you're doing it right, no matter how dumb it is. And no matter how great it is, someone's going to tell you you're doing it totally wrong. Totally wrong. And now you're just like, okay, like information has become a form of garbage. It comes at you from every direction all the time. You can't get away from it, really, to some degree. And now we're just all convinced, like, we're doing it wrong, or we're doing it right and the other person's doing it wrong no matter what. And we're just so, like, we're just inundated with criticism. And again, the answer to that, the solution to that is love. Like, the solution to it is love. Like, I think the world is constantly attacking you and making you feel criticized. Like, having a cheerleader, having someone who's like in your corner, because, you know, constructive criticism is still criticism.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. That like criticism is, it's
toxic. It's toxic. I'm not suggesting you should not hold your partner to standards. And I think part of being a loving partner and loving someone is like seeing their blind spots and being willing to, like, brave enough to say to them, like, hey, are you sure this is good, what you're doing right now? Like, is that going to help? I know you think it is, but like, I love you. I want you to thrive. And I'm worried that this isn't good. Like, I think there's value in it. But man, like, a lot of the beauty of love is like that connection, that feeling of like, this person's cheering for me in a world that's constantly telling me I'm doing it wrong. This person likes the way I'm doing it, you know? And even when they're, I don't want to say correcting me, but even when they're making me see something I didn't see that I might not want to have seen, they're doing it because they're cheering for me. Like, there's a difference between saying you're stupid and saying you're acting stupid. Like, you're stupid is you are stupid. You're acting stupid is you're not stupid. But what you're doing right now is stupid. And I know you're not stupid, you know? And those are two really different things. Because one of them is, you're so much better than this. And the other one is, you suck. And the world is really encouraging people. I would actually say particularly women. But social media is very much throwing at both genders, but mostly women, that like, yeah, don't put up with anything less than perfect. Like if you're not getting exactly what it is you need, someone's failing you.
Wow.
And I don't know that that's true. And I think criticism, like, you know, we criticize ourselves so heavily, men and women criticize ourselves so heavily. Having someone in your corner who like is cheering for you, that's a good feeling. That's a nice feeling. It's something we all want. Like, why does Love on the Spectrum hit us so hard in the gut? Because these people are just, everything is in good faith. Like, there's no hidden agenda. Everything is like, yeah, I really want this to work. Like, I really want this person to like me, and I really want to like them. And it's just from an abundance of good faith. And I think that that's amazing. Like, and I think there's nothing preventing us from harnessing that. Like, anyone listening to this right now can just make a decision for the balance of the day, whatever time of day it is. I'm just going to slightly modify how I interact with my partner in a way that just signals more good faith and more connection and less criticism. And again, I'm not saying tolerate terrible behavior. I think there's times where people have to be, but again, there's even a way to do it, you know, and I've talked about that before. Like, you can manipulate your partner in positive ways. Like, you know, you don't, if you say to someone, you know, we're not having sex as much as we used to, common complaint in long-term relationships, that invites defensiveness. Well, yeah, you're not around as much. You're working all the time. Well, I'm working all the time because you spend all the money. Well, I'm spending money because I'm other. Okay. Whereas I love feeling connected to you. Like, I love, like I miss like the smell of you. Da, da, da. I love when we like get to spend some time together. Like, okay, now I'm coming from a point of connection rather than a point of criticism. I'm pointing out what it is that I'm praising the opposite, right? I'm instead of saying, why aren't you doing this? I'm saying, God, when you do this, it's so good. I love that about you. Like, we should do that more, you know? Like, man, if I haven't made time for that, and that's where we're at, like, I'm really sorry, because boy, it's so important to me. Like, who's not going to jump on that? Who's not going to be like, okay, I mean, like the story I've said before is that, you know, I shave every day for work. You know, I don't get to have like, oops, I didn't know I was sexy stubble you're rocking. So I have to like.
Is that a 6 feet underline?
It is. Oh my God, you got that. I've been
Dude.
saying it forever and nobody gets it. Love
We're
that
kindred
show.
spirits. It's
Okay,
like
we
one
really
of my
are.
favorite.
We have all the same art.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that show.
I bet you I'm the first person to have ever.
You are the
picked that up.
first person to ever, and I say it constantly.
Yeah.
Oops, I didn't
David
know sexy
to
stubble.
Nate.
Yeah, he goes, you know, if you're dating, you should change that coffee into a dinner if you want the oops, I didn't know it was sexy stubble to grow out. That's the line in it. And it was, how long ago was that show?
God bless Alan Ball and 6 Feet Under.
What
My favorite show of all
show.
time.
Best show of all time.
Of all time.
And that, if I watch the last 10 minutes of the last episode, I still cry every time.
You,
It guts
other than me, are the first person I've ever heard say that.
It
Use
guts
that
me.
line.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, oops, I didn't know sexy stubble. I say it all the time. I say it, I actually get a lot of mileage out of that joke. And no one has ever got that line. It's amazing. We are kindred spirits. We're going to be. Wow. I feel like that was like in Step Brothers. Like, oh, did we just become best friends? Yep. You know. Yes. Yeah. I mean that. But the truth is, like, I have to shave every day, and on the weekends I try not to. So on the week, because it's just kind of a pain in the ass to shave. And I was dating a girl, and she had sensitive skin, and every time I would kiss her, she would be like, "Oh yeah, you have so much stubble. Like, your beard's so scratchy." And in my head, like, I understood where she was coming from, but like in my head, I was like, you know, like, what? Now I got to shave on the weekends too when I'm going to see you. And by the way, like, you kind of should be happy I'm kissing you. Like, it's kind of nice that I kissed your neck. Like, I'm sorry that I had stubble, but like, you know, and I have to shave every day, and now I got to do this on weekends too. That relationship didn't work out. That wasn't the reason why, but it didn't work out. Next relationship, she had the same issue, different woman, same issue, but she went about it differently. She, whenever I would shave, would come up to me and go like, oh God, you're like so hot when you shave. You're like Don Draper in Mad Men. Like, I love it. You know, dude, I shave like 3 times a day. Like, anytime I was going to see her, I'd be like, oh, I would go and like shave. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, I just shaved because you were coming over. She'd be like, oh, I love it. So they both needed the same thing, but one of them parsed it as a positive, as a point of connection, as here's a way you can turn me on, here's a way you can make me happy that's so easy, as opposed to a criticism. And think about all the things in your relationships, even not even just romantic relationships, in your interpersonal relationships. If you're a manager, in your employee relationships, all the ways you can leverage the human desire for praise, connection, love, affection, rather than beating the crap out of people and criticizing them and making them feel disconnected from you and making them feel unloved by you and disconnected from you.
Yeah, I've been in relationships where the person that I was with would make these like little micro jabs, like these little they're not like overt aggressions, but they're I guess like small criticisms that like in the moment might not seem like that much, but it becomes like Chinese water torture.
It's terrible. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And you know what's funny about it too is we not only excuse it, we almost kind of encourage it. Like I've seen couples when they're out with like other couples and they just start like taking the piss out of each other. Like, oh, well, he always does that. Da, da, da. And it's, no, I don't. Okay. You know, and you're like, dude, like that, not only if you were alone, that'd still be a problem, but now we're doing it with an audience. Like, what are you doing? And by the way, do you think I'm looking at you guys as a couple now and going, oh, that's good. They got something good going on there. Like I look at that and I'm like, wow, are you guys okay? Like this, we're here. You know that, right? We can hear you. The mute's not on. Like, but I think that it's become sort of, you know, it's become acceptable. It's become encouraged. I mean, there is so much content, boys versus girls, on the internet right now. Like, I can't tell you how many clips of me taken out of context where I say something about men or something about women. And usually if you listen to the whole thing, I say, well, you know, men have a tendency to blah, blah, blah. And women, you know, in response, da, da, da. And if you just take one piece of it, it sounds like I'm like a misandrist or misogynist. The clips that sound misandrist or misogynist are by far the most viral. This boys versus girls game is so popular on TikTok and Reels and all these things. It is so popular because either people are like, yes, queen, or they're like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And by the way, to the machine, to the algorithm, it's just engagement. Whether you're saying I love that or I hate that, it's engagement. So the best clips from an algorithm standpoint, popularity standpoint, from the machine's point of view, is how many comments did it get? How many shares did it get? Whether it's because it's great or whether it's because it's horrifying, that's all that matters, is that it's getting traction. So this boy versus girl thing, it's being fed to us constantly. And I think we're starting to think this is how it works. Like, we're losing the plot that a world where men are flailing is not a world where women are thriving. And a world where women are flailing is not a world where men are thriving. Like, we need each other. We're stuck with each other. This is a knife fight in a closet with the lights off. Like, just start stabbing. Okay, see how that works out. Like, you're going to cut yourself. You're going to cut everything up for no reason. Like, we don't actually hate each other. We actually want the same things. Maybe we speak different languages sometimes. We miss each other sometimes. We get the point wrong sometimes. Like, but a lot of times, like, it's not with malice. It's stupidity. It's short-sightedness. Like, we've gotten rid of in this culture the concept of a faux pas. Like a faux pas is like, you made a mistake. Like, you said something dumb. Like, you just stepped on yourself a little bit. It's like, no, you said the wrong thing. You're a bad person. You must be a horrible person. That reveals the darkness in you, and you're just an awful person, and you're going to be canceled. It's like, no, I just said something stupid. Like, people just say dumb things sometimes. They make a mistake. It's okay. I do it. You do it. You know, every person listening who cancels anybody, they know they sometimes have said something stupid or phrased something wrong or something was ill-timed. But we can't give each other that grace. Like, we can't, like, it's because it's not popular to be like, oh yeah. Like, when Beyonce and Jay-Z had their thing where there'd been some infidelity, if she'd left him, it would have been to a chorus of cheers. She did the harder thing. They stayed together. Like if Hillary Clinton had left Bill Clinton, everyone would have understood. A lot of people would have been cheering for her. They did this other thing where they're like, no, I want to figure this out. Like, I don't think that this person is defined by one mistake, no matter how serious that mistake was. And I have an investment in this person. We have children. We love each other. Like we made promises to each other. We failed. We made a mistake. You broke that promise. Does that mean this person's valueless? Does that mean this person could never be trusted? I have seen a lot of people come into my office and they've been cheated on or they've been caught cheating. And it just happened. And they're like, okay, it's over. It's over. I'm getting divorced. We're done. That's it. And, you know, as a lawyer, I could weaponize that very quickly. I'd be like, all right, we got to move quickly and we have to do this. We have to. A lot of times, like, unless there's something imminent happening, I'll really try to get people to be like, okay, cool. Next week, we can do this and this. Or, you know, listen, we're going to shore up our defenses, but we're not going to start firing bullets just yet. Let's just see. And quite often, a week or two later, the person's like, okay, we're going to go talk to someone. We're going to go to counseling. We're going to figure something out. Now, this is not a popular thing to say. Like, you post this as a clip, you're going to get a lot of comments, and they're not going to be praising. They're going to be like, well, that's stupid. People are stupid. Why would you ever do? Once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay. But I can tell you, because again, people lie to their therapist and their friends all the time. They don't lie to their lawyer. They don't lie to their divorce lawyer. There's no reason to lie to their divorce lawyer. Two people in the world shouldn't lie to ever, your doctor and your lawyer. Everything's confidential, and you know, we have one job, and that's to protect you. That's it. I don't work for the government. I don't work for the IRS. I don't work for the police. You tell me you killed somebody, my job's to help make sure nobody finds out. That's my job. Like, I'm here, you know? I really believe that people just don't, you know, they're not honest with themselves, and then they're just not honest with each other. But I really believe there are, and I've seen it, I know it. People sit across from me, they figure it out after infidelity quite a lot. But the shame they have to carry around, because if they said out loud, yeah, it was really hard, but then we figured it out. Now, here's the thing. I understand why you wouldn't want to air that laundry, because we do really beat the crap out of people for forgiving someone after infidelity and things like that. But maybe that's also because, like, we don't share that struggle. Like, and I understand why. Like, I understand someone who's been cheated on or someone who's cheated, they don't want to publicly share that struggle. But like, if people were a little more honest about the fact that, yeah, this happened in our relationship, and then here's how we moved through it, maybe we would view it differently. Like, all it really takes for us to see things a little differently is a couple of brave people to get up and say, why are we doing it that way? Like, why do we do it that way? You know, I've said before, tradition, in one sense, is the wisdom of the people who came before us and the lessons that they learned. And tradition is also peer pressure exerted by dead people. Dead people who lived in a completely different world than the one we live in. Like, if you say, why are you getting married? Well, my parents got married, my grandmother got married, my great-grandmother got married, my great-great-grandmother got married. Cool. Your great-great-grandmother used a buggy whip, too. Do you use a buggy whip? Like, your great-grandmother did not have the totality of all entertainment in the history of the world in the palm of her hand, accessible anytime through the air. But we're just going to keep applying a technology because she did. And we're never going to ask the question, why? What is the problem to which marriage is a solution? Why is that a strange question? Why is it if you said, Jim, I'm getting married? If I said, oh, wow, cool, why? Why? This is a technology that fails 56% of the time. I don't think it's crazy, if we're friends, for me to say, why? And by the way, there's some great answers as to why. You know, it's really important to my parents. Okay, it's a good answer. I want the tax benefits. She's got great health insurance. We're religious. It's important to, okay, those are all great answers. But no one even asked the question. Because a lot of people, if you ask them the question, they've never thought of the question. They'll tell you what kind of cake they want, whether they want a DJ or a band. They've thought a lot about that. But they've not said, like, why do you want to get married? It's just a thing you do. You're supposed to get married. Why? again, if it catastrophically fails 56% of the time, how many, here's a great one. How many people in really good shape do you know? Like really good health, really good shape do you know?
I mean, very few.
Okay, but like how many?
Uh,
I mean, you're in a space where you obviously know some fit people. You're also in California. You people are
Yeah.
all amazing looking.
well, in-person relationships?
Yeah, but they're like in good shape.
Like one or two?
Okay, one or two, they're like, I'm not saying elite shape, but I'm saying good shape. Like,
Yeah.
they're in good shape, they're fit, they take care of themselves.
5, 6, something
Okay,
like that.
5, 6, great. How many people that are like happy pet owners do you know? Probably tons, right? Okay. How many genuinely, happily married people do you know? Like genuinely, I'm so glad I did this. This is my person and I would choose them again anytime.
I think I know one couple.
I know one. Chris and Amy. That's it. One. I don't know any other ones. I know some that are like, yeah, whatever, it's good enough. It's fine. Like I don't want to deal with all the other stuff, you know? Or like they're like, yeah, you know, like it's good, it's bad, whatever. Like, but I know like one that's like, oh my God. Okay, but yet we're just marching down the aisle, man. We're just doing this. What do you do? Like it's assumed you're gonna do it. And if you're not doing it, there's something wrong with you.
Do you think that we should normalize long-term relationships where marriage is not the end goal?
I think we should I think we should be honest about what marriage is. Marriage is a state concept. Like marriage, you know, someone once said, God is the name we give to the blanket that we put over a mystery to give it shape. I think marriage is a thing we put on top of a certain kind of romantic love because we think it's going to keep it safe. It gives a name to something, you know, like Wittgenstein said, you know, where understanding fails, a word comes to take its place. I think marriage is like a name we give to a type of relationship we aspire to. But really what marriage is a government creation. It's a legal status. That's all it is. Like that happily married couple, you know, the happily married couple I know, if the government hadn't got involved, I think they'd actually still probably be really happy. I don't think the marriage made them happy. Like, I definitely don't think that marriage and love have a causal relationship, and I don't even think they have a correlation that's particularly strong. But I think we feel this connection to a person. It's real. There's no denying it. And we want to hold on to it. And that's, you know, I think the Buddhists aren't wrong. Like, I think that the great pain of our life is, you know, we feel joy and we go, I want this to last forever. Or we feel pain and we go, I got to get away from this right away. And in reality, like, you will never be able to hold on to joy forever. Like, impermanence is everything, you know. Pain is temporary. Joy is temporary. Pain is something you have to learn to live with. Like, if you don't find joy in the snow, you will have less joy in your life in precisely the same amount of snow. So, you know, if you don't find peace and joy in the midst of pain, like you'll have less peace and joy in your life in precisely the same amount of pain. So I really believe that marriage is about trying to use a technology to protect something that can't really be protected. I love that we try to do it because it's like a prayer. It's like a fervent, frightened prayer from a child. Like, please, let this last forever. It feels so good. Let it last forever. What a beautiful thing to make someone feel that way. Like, that's why I still love weddings. Love weddings. Because there's something about like people standing up and going, I found my person. This person makes me so happy. I just want to tell all of you how happy this person makes me. And I want all the people we know and love in this room who are part of this, who help make us, and you help make this person I like more than the other 8 billion I've ever met. And I want to thank all of you for being here, and I'm going to serve you cake. We're going to do the chicken dance. Like, dude, sign me up. This is the greatest thing in the world. Like, if the first time everybody you love in your life is in one room is your funeral, you're an idiot. Have weddings, man. Get married. Do it. Oh my God. What's more worthy of celebration than love? the connection two people feel to each other, wanting to like say it out loud, wanting to put a ring on and say to people, I got my person. You don't even worry about talking to me because I got my person. Like, I'm good, you know? Like, these are worthy sentiments. But like everything, it's like starts out as a good idea and then it metastasizes into this giant steaming pile of horse shit.
Man, there's a line, I wish I could recall it verbatim because it was so pithy. There was so much truth in it. But essentially, it's like, if you're an asshole with a cup of coffee, you're going to be an asshole with a yacht.
100%. Yeah. I represent billionaires. First of all, when it comes to money, I've always said there's two amounts of money, enough and not enough. That's it. And I'm telling you something, I got clients with a couple $100 million. It's not enough. And I got clients with a couple $100,000, and it's enough. Like, it really has more to do with what it symbolizes for you, you know? And yeah, I think if I think it's another Thich Nhat Hanh quote where he said, I've broken my teacup, my favorite teacup. I have two choices. I can be sad about this. I can be okay with this. Either way, my teacup is gone. Like, and I think this is what, I think love and connection, it's really just about looking honestly at what's in front of you. Because I think the truth is quite beautiful. I think the frailty of humans is quite beautiful. Like, you don't have to be perfect for me to love you. Like, even my friends, like, they don't have to be perfect for me to love them. I love them in their imperfection. I almost love their perfection more. Like, and I wish, I'll be candid, I wish I loved myself the way I love my friends. Like, I don't know about you, but like the voice in my head in the morning, if someone talked to the people I love the way the voice in my head talks to me in the morning, I would punch that person in the face. Like, because the voice in my head is like, come on, man, get up. Like, stop being so lazy. Let's go. And you got to get to the gym. What are you doing, man? You're getting soft. Like, go to, like, that's me talking to me. Like, if someone said that to someone I love, I'd be like, whoa. Give them a minute. Like, that, you don't talk to them like that. Like, there was a long day the day before, and if they need a minute, let them have a minute. Like, hold on. Like, come on. Like, because why? Because I love them. I love them. I love them in a way that I maybe should love myself, you know? And I think if we looked at that more honestly, I think we'd love ourselves better. We'd love our partners better. I think that's one of the great things about like deep romantic connection is that, again, like you learn to love yourself differently when you're loved. You know, I really think the most radical notion of Jesus was not, like the most radical notion of Jesus was like, you will be transformed by loving, not by being loved necessarily. And by the way, being loved is transformative, but like by loving, like loving other people and connecting to other people and radiating love to other people and recognizing that like the love that you gave your mother and she gave to you and you don't get to give to each other anymore. Like, that love is still there. It's still a power. It's still a force. You can give it to someone else. Like, in the Bible, in the gospel, Jesus on the cross looks down to Mary, his mother, and to Peter, his best friend, his closest disciple. And they're weeping because he's dying. And he says, "Mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother." Like, think about how beautiful that is. Like, the sentiment, because what he was saying is, I'm gone. But you can be for each other what we were for each other, because I'm going to be gone. But you can be this for each other. Like, love doesn't have to die. Like, love can be transformative. Love can be shifted. Like, you can, like, love can be the most transformative force in the world if we allow it to be. But it's scary because you have to accept the impermanence of it. You have to accept the fragility of it. And you have to do, like, this much routine preventative maintenance to keep it in your line of sight. I think it's worth it.
Amen. What are the earliest signs that a relationship is going south?
That's a good question. I think the earliest signs are, I would say, a few things. One is where we start shifting from, I think the two biggest mistakes people make in relationship are sort of counterposts to each other. So it'll seem a little contradictory. The two biggest mistakes people make in relationships is thinking that people are going to change and thinking that people are never going to change. Okay? So you're dating someone and you're like, if we get married, they won't drink so much. Like right now they're drinking a lot because we're young and we're partying, but as we get older, they're going to drink less. If we have a kid, they're going to drink less. It's not, you're thinking someone's going to change, bad. Okay? But similarly, thinking this is how this person is and they're never going to change. Like they're always going to be this way. Like they're kind to me and they're always going to be kind to me. They're funny and they're always going to be funny. They're sexy to me and they're always going to be sexy to me. We're deeply sexually attracted to each other and we're always going to be that. Thinking that it'll never change, it'll never transform because we're constantly changing, right? So thinking that we're not going to change and thinking that we're definitely going to change, those are two really dangerous things. And what do they lead to? They lead to small disconnections and resentment. That then I think the earliest sign of a relationship starting what I would call the downward spiral is you start to count, like keeping a scorecard, and then you start using the scorecard. So it becomes things like, well, why should I leave him a note? He hasn't said a nice thing to me all week. And then he's going to go, why should I be nice to her? She hasn't talked to me once this week. Well, why should I talk to him? And the last two times I talked to him, he was just, and this is just a downward spiral. And by the way, you're right. You're right. Like we don't have sex like we used to. Like we don't sleep together as much anymore. Well, you don't talk to me as much as you used to. Well, I don't talk to you as much because every time I talk to you, we get in an argument. Well, we get in an argument because you dismiss everything I say and you assume it's bad faith. Okay, you're both right. Now what? You don't have to be married, guys. You don't have to be in a relationship. Like you can leave. Or you could reverse that spiral really easy by like just changing the direction of it. Like, because that same concept of like, well, you're not this, so I'm not going to this. Well, you're not this, so I'm not going to this. Okay, you can change that cycle by I'm going to do this even though I don't have to. This good thing, this kind thing, this warm thing. And maybe that goes, oh, well, they did that for me. Like maybe I'll do this thing for them. And then it starts this positive spiral, right? So I think when you start to see the first step of that negative downward spiral, is people starting to like treat each other poorly as a reaction to perceived transgressions of the other, right? So, well, I'm not going to clean up that dish because she didn't clean up my dish. Cool. That's great. What's the end game on that? Like, neither of us has to be nice to each other? Cool. Okay, you're right. Like, you don't have to be nice to each other. I thought the idea here was we wanted to be together and happy. I thought that was the idea. Like when we started, when we had that big party and you had the dress and I had the tux, remember everybody's in the room? The whole idea there was, this person makes me happy. I make them happy too. We're going to like really try to make each other happy. That was the goal, right? So when did it turn into this like, well, you did this, so I don't have to do this. Well, I did this, so I don't have to do this. Like, when did it turn into that?
Just angry roommates.
Yeah, like resentful roommates. Resentful roommates. And by the way, I'm not saying that resentment sometimes isn't born of something totally fair and legitimate. Of course, like it hurts when someone doesn't see you. It hurts when someone's inconsiderate. But the solution to it is not to escalate in this arms race. The solution to it is to go, okay, that's not the game we're playing. Like the game we signed on for is not who can fail each other more. The idea was, how can we show up for each other? And I think that that's a noble pursuit. I think it's something that we can try. So I would say that's a huge first crack in the wall, is when you start counting those things and you start negatively reacting to each other in this downward spiral. The other thing too is I think, when you just stop you just stop. I mean, look at it's actually kind of easy to look at. You know, my mom used to say that intelligence is hard to define, but you can spot stupid a mile away. Like a good relationship is harder to define than a bad one. Like we all know what a bad one looks like, right? So maybe a good relationship is one that's like missing a lot of the bad stuff, you know? And so I think when I think about what are the first signs that a relationship is cracking, I think about, well, what are the first signs that we're falling in love? What are the first signs we're falling in love? We have excitement about seeing each other. We care what the other person thinks of us. We give thought to the manner in which we're showing up for this person. We want to bring our best self to the person. We want to look good for them. We want to smell good for them. We want to say the right thing. We pay attention to what we're doing, you know, like how we're behaving. And you know what? That's work. That's work. Like, I get it. And there's value, by the way, in knowing that this person loves you even in sweats and kind of whatever, you know, but the truth is, like, it's too easy to just fall into that and go, okay, well, like, I'm not, because again, remember, when you fell in love with each other, you were trying to present a certain, you know, sometimes it was like you had Spanx on your personality. I'm not saying that that's what you should do is be false. I don't think you should even be false in courtship. But I don't think makeup is lying. I think makeup is accentuating the positive, decentuating the negative. I think that's what happens when you're first dating. Is like when someone's got something good about them, you like shine a light at it and you're like, oh, I love this about this person. And when they fail, you kind of go like, oh yeah, but that, you know, it's not like big of a deal. Like you know, it's not like, because you want it to work so bad that you're like, yeah, no, that's like, I love all these things about them. And yeah, that thing, I forget, that thing's no big deal. Okay. So like when you stop doing that, that's the sign. That's the sign. Because again, that's a practice. Like that's not a phenomenon. That's not a supernatural force. It's a practice. It's a habit of mind. Like relationships are just a habit. Like it's a series of habits, an amalgam of habits. It's an amalgam of ways that we relate to each other. That's all that it is. So why not just look at what it was? What were we doing back then? What little kindness were we showing each other? What little tiny gestures were we showing each other? You know, it is little shit, man. It's little stuff. It's like putting your hand on the person's back when they're walking through the door. It's giving each other a kiss when you see each other. Saying, "Oh, I missed you." You know, like I like it. Like, "Oh, you look pretty." Oh, I think I'm so lucky to have you. Like all the little things you used to say that you just stop saying because there's other things to talk about and they seem more important. Okay, but don't. Just reel the tape back. Just reel the tape back. I'm telling you, try it. Try it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you lost the plot completely. Maybe it's over. Maybe you were poor choices for each other. Maybe it's done. Isn't it worth trying that? It's simple. It didn't cost anything. Just try it. Try it and see. And if you say, because here's the thing most people say. They're like, well, what if I do all that? What if I leave the note? What if I say the nice thing? What if I do the nice thing? What if I all that? And then this person still never shows up. It never creates that positive spiral. Okay. Then you know. You did everything you could do. You know, you tried. Like, how much poorer are you for it? What you're really saying is, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared if I do this and it doesn't work. And they don't do that for me. They don't love me as much as I love them. That's what you're afraid of. Like, that's really the core of what you're afraid of. If you're not really trying in your relationship, it's not that you don't care about your relationship. It's that you're afraid that if you try, the other person won't try. And that means you don't have value, right? Like embarrassment is, you know, I did something stupid or I did something wrong. Shame is there's something wrong with me. And I think that's the thing we're afraid of. We're afraid, what if I keep trying and showing up for this person and then they don't do it for me because they don't really love me? Like, because again, I think it is much harder to be loved than to love. Like, I think we feel tremendous amounts of love for people and animals, and like we feel a lot of love. I think a lot of us don't feel worthy of love. And we're terrified that we're not worthy of love. We're terrified that if someone really knew us, they wouldn't really love us. The only way that they love us is that we've sold them a bill of goods. We've given them bright ties and bullshit to the point where they believe. But the truth is, like, we desperately want to be loved. We desperately want to be worthy of love. And I think we are. I think we really are. I think we're all like flawed, we're all heroes in the right moment. We're all villains in the wrong moment. But like we're all just trying to do this, man. And I really believe that most of what we get wrong in relationships stems from the mistaken belief that we're not worthy of love and all the things we do to protect ourselves from having to confront that fear.
In all of your experience, have you ever seen people fall back in love with one another? Have you ever seen?
Yeah. I've seen people reconcile. What you're asking when you ask that question is, can you take the same ingredients and make a different dish? And we all know the answer is yes. If you're Thomas Keller or Jose Andre, you can give them the same 5 ingredients you give me, you're going to get 2 totally different dishes. Like, can you give them a pile of horse shit and say you want chicken parmesan? You're not going to get it. Best chef in the world, not going to happen. But if you give them the same 5 ingredients and me the same 5 ingredients, they're going to make something beautiful out of that. So I think we all know you can take the same ingredients and with a different level of care and how you handle them and different tools, you can make something different. And so when someone says like, well, people have fallen out of love or they've disconnected, do you think they can come back? Of course. By the way, at some point, these ingredients made a beautiful dish. So beautiful that you said, I'm going to eat just this for the rest of my life. This is my favorite food. And you're asking me what the ingredients that made my favorite food, can it make my favorite food again? Yeah, it can. It definitely can. It's actually weirder that the same ingredients that made my favorite dish, now I can't stand how it tastes. I would go, did you add something you shouldn't have? Did you put some salt in there when it didn't need salt? Did you mix up the salt and the sugar? And that's what's wrong? Because you had these ingredients and it made your favorite dish. And now you're saying, this doesn't taste good. I hate it. I never want to eat it ever again. Okay, what happened then? Because those ingredients, those original ingredients, right? The love on the spectrum ingredients. Like, I want to be loved, you want to be loved, we both are going to connect to each other, we're going to bring an abundance of optimism, we're going to be, all those ingredients, they're still there. They're still there. Just make them different. Just cook them different. If not you, who? Like who? And again, I know we all want there to be some big answer or axiom. Like there's some Rumi poem I can recite to you that you're going to then be like, yep, and that's the secret. That's all you got to do. Just put a cabbage on your head. You're good. Like that's all. It's a secret. The secret's simple. Like, pay attention. Pay attention. Show up. Be kind to your partner. Be kind to yourself. Like, they love you. Be kind to yourself. Like if you're cruel to yourself, if you're awful to yourself, you're being awful to someone they love. So you're being awful to, if you're awful to someone I love, you're being awful to me. So if I love you and you're brutal to yourself, you're being brutal to someone I love, right? So I think if you strip it down, keep it simple, strip it down, all this complexity, you're making it harder than it needs to be. What would this look like if it was simple?
Is it harder now to date than it had been in the past? I mean, you've been doing this. I mean, I guess we had social media 20 years ago, but it wasn't the same.
It wasn't anywhere near the same.
Yeah.
And it hadn't reached its final form. It may still not have. But it definitely hadn't proliferated the way that it did. It was sort of like a side thing. You know, like there were cars when there were horses on the road too. But it wasn't like society had been structured around the internal combustion engine. Like I drove on the 405 today, you know, like that was designed. Like this is a city that was designed for cars. It's not designed for walking. So I think 20 years ago there was social media. There was life and then there was social media. And now it became, we're structuring life around social media. Like, so it's a very different ecosystem, you know. And I think like any ecosystem, like You add a lizard to the forest. You don't have the forest plus a lizard. You have a whole new forest because that lizard eats this bug. That bug used to eat this plant. That plant creates this dynamic that now is going to... You've changed the whole thing. And by the way, take out the lizard now, it's not going to go back to what it was because all the natural predators of that are going to go now. And then so it's the same thing. Like, it's a non-additive system. So I think we've created conditions that are highly antagonistic to finding like deep, meaningful connection if you let them be. And the most dangerous part is it's creating in us a definitional expectation of like, what should real love look like? What should I be looking for? What should I settle for? What should I accept in my partner? What's important in my partner? What's the right way to relate to my partner and the wrong way? We are listening to everyone but ourselves, everyone but our heart and our gut. And by the way, these people that are selling you how you should live your life, like, the algorithm doesn't love you. They want your money. They don't care about you. They want your money. Like, that's it. That's it. These people, they're building what they're building, not because they love you and they want you to be happy. They want your money. And if you allow that, like, it's okay. David Foster Wallace said, like, social media is like junk food. Like, it's okay once in a while. It's good to have it once in a while. But if you make it a staple of your diet, you're going to die. In a real way, you're going to die. Because these are people that don't love you and want your money. And so if you let them define what a relationship should look like, if you let them define what you should expect from your partner and what you should get mad at your partner for, what you should resent your partner for, if you let these people define how you will never be anything but dissatisfied. Because really, what is social media but advertisement? It's an advertisement for ourselves, right? Like, it's real advertisements, it's product placement and all that crap. But it's also like, oh, here's an ad for me. Here's a curated ad of my life. Here's the greatest hits of my life. It's a curated picture of that. Do you know the one message you will never hear in an advertisement? You're fine. You're fine. You don't need anything. Advertising is the opposite of therapy. The purpose of therapy is to instill a sense of wellness in a person, right? To help them find wellness in themselves. Advertising is the opposite. The core message of every advertisement is you're not okay. You're not okay. There's something wrong. It's fixable. It's fixable. If you had the right watch, it's fixable. You get the right shirt, it's fixable. This tie, you'd be much better. If you had this tie, you'd be much better. If you had 8-pack abs, you'd be much better. You'd be much happier. You'd be much more attractive. You'd be happy. You have a better relationship. Redemption is available. You got to buy the ticket, but it's available. But you're not okay. What do you think the cumulative effect of being told every day, all the time, when we're just trying to check the weather or get to where we're going in a car, or whatever it might be, the cumulative effect of being told over and over the core message of all of it, which is you're not okay. You're not okay. You need to optimize. You need to neurohack. You need to do this. You need to get it right. Get in the cold plunge. Get in the sauna. Get your carbs out. Get whatever it is you got to do. Do it. Do it. Don't be a girl boss or don't be a girl boss. Be a trad wife or don't be a trad wife. Like, whatever it might be, and it'll change every day. But the core message is always the same. You're not okay. You're not okay. You're not okay. And I genuinely believe, what's the opposite of that? Like, real love. You're okay. You're not only okay, you're great. You're great. You're my favorite person. Like, what is marriage at its core? Other than, like, 4 of the nicest words a human being could ever say. You're my favorite person. Like, I get choked up saying those words. You're my favorite person. Like, what a lovely thing to say. Like, what a lovely thing to know someone feels about you. Like, why do you and I get choked up when we think about our moms? Because like mom is the name of God on the lips of children. Like, and there was a time where like your mom looked at you, and whether she said it out loud or whether she just said it by her actions or the way she looked at you, she was saying, you're my favorite person. You were her favorite person. Like, that's amazing. Like, and I think that's all any of us want. Like, we want to find someone who could be our favorite person and who will be their favorite person. And all this other shit is just a level of complexity and that we're throwing on top of it that makes it messy and ugly and complicated. And why? And I really think it's because they're just constantly selling us what's wrong with us.
Yeah, wow. It's not dissimilar from the food environment.
100%.
And you look at the statistics, on obesity in this country, how almost 70% of adults are either overweight or obese. And it's because of the ease with which at any given point in the day you have within arm's reach hyper-processed, hyper-palatable, ultra-calorie dense, easy to consume foods.
Tastes great.
Yeah, it's very similar.
In the moment, tastes great. But again, what is discipline other than trading what you want now for what you want most? And that's what this is. Like, what is marriage at its core? What is a relationship, a romantic relationship, like a marriage? What is it at its core? It's trading what you want now for what you want most. What do we want now? We want novelty. We want to have sex with like everybody who's attractive to us. We want to, okay, like of course, just like you want to eat sugar all damn day and you want to eat chocolate cake all day. Okay, but we're not 5. Like what we really want is long-term vibrant health. We want to not get super sick. We want to not have type 2 diabetes. Like we want, okay, so don't you ideally reach a point where you go, okay, that's what I really want. So how do I go after that? How do I get that? I was a smoker early in my life. I quit 20 plus years ago, maybe 30 now. And I remember people used to be like, oh, cigarettes will kill you, they'll kill you. And I remember being like, okay, like, it's going to take, like, smoking takes 20 years off your life. I'm like, right, the last 20. Like the adult diaper wearing years. Like, I didn't really want them. It's fine. Like, I'm enjoying this right now. What got me to quit smoking was the things I loved more than smoking that I couldn't really do. I loved to exercise, and I couldn't exercise as well. I loved the taste of good food and green tea. I couldn't even taste green tea because my taste buds had been so burned out by cigarettes. And I quit, and I was like, yeah, it wasn't that like, oh no, the threat of someday I'll die from it. I'm going to die someday anyway. It was that, no, my life would be better if what I want now, which is another cigarette, if what I want most, which is to like feel good and be able to like run and exercise and taste good food and taste subtle flavors that I can't when I burn out. So again, it's the same thing. Like, what do we want most? We want to love. We want to feel loved. We want to be the best version of ourselves. We want someone to see our blind spots, like all the things we know we want when we're looking for love, right? We want to be someone's favorite person. We want to have a favorite person and then get to be around them. You have a favorite cat. It's lovely. It's lovely to have a favorite person. And you might be your cat's favorite person. And what a lovely thing to be. Like, to be someone's favorite. It's lovely. Like, it's a great sensation. So you want to stay there now, right? That's what you want most. Okay, so there's lots of things you might want right now, but do you want them more than that? Like, because here's the thing. Like, if I'm going to be in a monogamous sexual relationship, I don't want it to be that, like, I can suffer through this. And I also don't believe that, like, I want to meet someone that's going to make me never want to sleep with anyone else ever again. I'm going to meet a woman who makes me want to give up all the other ones forever, no matter what. Okay, that's ridiculous. What you want is you want someone who goes, yeah, there's always going to be beautiful other people. Like, but what I want is like a deep connection to this person that gets deeper. I'm going to trade novelty for deep connection, like deeper and deeper connection and trust and like real intimacy where like we really get to know each other and we really get to know what the other one likes, and we make a priority of giving this person what they like and what feels good to them, and we know that they make a priority of our pleasure and our joy. Like, that's a practice, that's a discipline. Will there always be junk food? Yeah. Porn's junk food.
100%.
Like spontaneous, look, random, one night stands, it's junk food. And again, I'm not saying that if you crave junk food, you're weak. You're human, of course. It was designed for you to find it appealing. Same thing with porn. But is that really what you want? What you what you want. What we all want, I believe, is the same thing. And the people that say, I want something other than that, I think you're scared. I think that's all.
And there's probably a lesson to be learned from whether it's quitting smoking or reducing your consumption of ultra-processed foods, that there's a degree of environment design that probably is really helpful to helping you achieve those goals, right? Like when you were trying to quit smoking, you didn't have packs of cigarettes on every counter in your house, right?
And I didn't hang out with a ton of people that were smoking around me. If anything, I tried to hang out with people that didn't smoke or people that used to smoke and didn't anymore and understood what I was going through. So surrounding yourself when you're in relationship with people that are jaded about love or that have, are feeling very bitter about it or they're in an unhappy relationship, it's not great. It's not gonna, again, your food environment, your emotional environment, your relationship environment is important. Look, one of the lessons I've heard you say many times in many formats is it's a whole lot easier to control your food environment than it is to control your brain. I have a lot more power over that. Like if I have the stuff in my house, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be a moment I'm gonna eat it. So if I don't have it in the house, I might not get in the car, drive, I'll go, all right, there's nothing here. I guess I'm gonna eat an apple. So, okay, like same thing in your relationship. Like same thing, it's about a practice. It's about, the structure of your home. And again, that's why I said you can hack it with these little things. 10 minutes a week. We're gonna send each other an email or we're gonna sit down and have a conversation about, tell me 3 things I did right this week that made you feel loved. How hard is this? And all that is stocking the pantry with healthy, delicious food. When you have it, is it gonna blow your head off delicious like a piece of chocolate cake? No, but is it gonna satisfy you? Yeah, it's gonna satisfy you. You'll be all right.
Lowering the friction to the healthy food and increasing the friction to the unhealthy food. And food, in air quotes, food being...
Right. Feeding the relationship and the connection to each other, the ritual of honoring our bond.
James Sexton. Damn.
I'm still blown away by the 6 Feet Under. That really caught me on that quote.
Favorite show of all time.
I can't believe you and I have that in common. It's great. It's such a good show. It's wild.
I mean, I related so much to Nate. Yeah.
You have a lot of Nate.
Yeah.
You have a lot of Nate. I had a lot of Nate too.
My mom used to say that too. Yeah. As the oldest in a family of 3.
Yeah.
Very, very relatable.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I love you, man. I'm a fan.
Me too, man. That's great.
I'm an admirer, and I love what you're putting out into the world. I'm so glad that we got to.
Same way. Me too.
Have this.
I have a feeling we'll do it again.
Same.
And I'm grateful for it. I'm really glad we got to spend the time. And this is a blast. Absolute blast.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. Absolutely.
I've actually got one last question for you, if you can believe it or not.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, where can listeners pick up your book and how can they find you on social media?
So the most popular format of my book is audiobook. I'm not sure why. People love audiobooks, but you can get it on Audible or Google Play or any of those things if you want to listen to me talk for 8.5 hours. You can get it at Amazon, any place else. How to Stay in Love, Practical Wisdom from an Unlikely Source. You can go to sextonshow.com. That's a show I'm doing on YouTube now that it just started. I've only started a few months ago. We already have, close to 50,000 subscribers, and we're just starting out, but we're having fun with it. I'm doing a lot of, it's just short, 30-minute show where I just talk about relationship stuff, and I look at stuff on the internet, and I talk about, and I give sort of a cross-examination or a critique of things. So you can go to sextonshow.com, check that out. And on Instagram, I'm at NYC Divorce Lawyer. And if you're worth $200 million and your marriage is falling apart, you can also call me. nycdivorces.com, that's my firm. And I'm certainly here to be of assistance in that regard. But I'm also just walking around New York City most of the time. That's where you find me most of the time.
Love it, dude. My hometown.
Yeah. You're, what was it, Murray Hill?
Murray Hill.
Murray Hill.
Born and raised.
Yeah. Well,
Curry Hill.
Listen, you're in the sunshine now, my friends. So.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't be happier to be out of that.
That's great, man. No, but I appreciate you having me. It's a blast, and this was great. And like I said, we'll do it again.
For sure. Well, The last question that gets asked to everybody on the show, what does living a genius life mean to you?
I think it's an introspective life. I think it's a life where you're introspective and honest with yourself. I think, William Burroughs talked about what he called a naked lunch, where it's like you really look what's at the end of your fork. And I really think there's value in being honest with yourself. I think a genius life is a life that's brave enough to be introspective about what's really meaningful to you.
Well put.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Share this episode with friends and loved ones that may benefit from it. And sending love. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.